Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. I'm Chris Horner. Today is stage 11 of the 2023 Tour de France. Today's stage at 180 kilometers long, about 115 miles in length. It looks like it's ideal for the sprint teams to try to control today's race and bring it down so we can see who the best sprinters in the world are here at the Tour de France. Now, when the stage starts, we're going to see that it's going to be 3 riders going up the road, because when we look up front, we see Andre Amador from EF Education, Mathieu Louvel from Arkea Samsic, and Daniel Oss from Total Energy. Now, Andre Amador, when they hit kilometer 0, he rolled off the front. Looked like he was going to do a little bit of effort. Then he sat up and looked around at everybody. Nobody was coming with him at all. He's dangling out there for a few hundred meters and then does a little more acceleration. Then we saw a Trek Segafredo rider jump across to him, who went back to the field back there. Then we see Daniel Oss come across, and we get Mathieu Louvel up there from Arkea Samsic to have 3 riders. Now, these guys aren't given any kind of real time. I don't understand on a stage of 180 kilometers why they're not given more time and they continue to stay out there. Guys, if they're not going to give you any time, just sit up and go back to the peloton and either ride easy all day or wait for some more big attacks to come, but make the sprinter teams do some work. Because when the cameras go back, yes, we see Alpecin de Koenig on the front, we see the tractor, Tim de Klerk back there pulling, and we see Lotto Destiny from time to time, but in general, it's a pretty calm, easy stage, and the biggest the gap really got out to was only about 3 minutes, and that got pulled back. When we get into the intermediate sprint competition, we'll see the peloton get a little excited back there because it's Cofidis that's leading out their sprinter, Brian Cocard, and he goes all the way to the line, almost to the line, that is, because Jasper Philipsen from Alpecin de Koenig in the race leader's green jersey, he takes the points away from Brian Cocard for 4th place in the peloton here. Now, that was about the most exciting thing happening throughout the beginning of the stage. We saw yesterday's stage where they were carrying a ton of ice over to the buses at the beginning, but today it's a little bit cooler day, so you know it's easy in the peloton, because the only thing I saw the Soigneurs carrying was water to the bus when they were at the start of the race before it got going proper. So with that in mind, everyone's got a rest day, and we know yesterday's stage 10 was incredibly hard, and that explains why the field wants to go easy, but it still doesn't explain why 3 riders want to sit out there. I mean, sure, there's some KOMs available out there that we saw Louvel from Arkea Samsic get the first KOM, Daniel Oss got the second, and the third one Daniel Oss got again, but that's not really worth spending this kind of energy out front when you're not trying to get KOM points and you got no chance of winning the stage. Well, we see with 53 kilometers to go, Mathieu Louvel from Arkea Samsic, the first to drop out of the group, and he says bye-bye. Now, after him comes Andre Amador. We saw a little bit of facial expressions and some talking between Andre Amador and Daniel Oss from Total Energies, but then Andre Amador sits up. He's like, I'm calling this, and he gets out with 50 kilometers to go. Daniel Oss, he's on a French team, so we're at the Tour de France, so you know he's going to go full gas. Well, he punches it, extends the gap back out to about 30-40 seconds on the peloton behind. Now, it started raining about 75 kilometers ago, so we're starting getting a little bit nervous. But with 30 kilometers to go, this is when it starts picking up. We see Jumbo-Visma at the front. UAE Team Emirates are there because they got Tadej Pogacar in the white leader's jersey here at the Tour de France for the youth classification. But we know yellow's what's important, so Jumbo-Visma's going full gas at the front with a bunch of sprinter teams wrapped around the 2 GC guys sitting first and second on the general classification. They'll go into 20 kilometers to go. It's about the same scenario up there. Then with 15 kilometers to go, as Daniel Oss is getting wrapped up, we got the stage victory up for grabs here on stage 11. Things start getting interesting with about 11 kilometers to go. This is when you see Dylan Van Barley come to the front, and we see the yellow jersey of Jonas Vingegaard hop on his wheel. Now the peloton's starting to go full gas at just about 11 kilometers to go. 9 kilometers to go, we see Caleb Ewan's at the front. If I back the film up to about 25-30 kilometers to go, Caleb Ewan had been sitting back there for Lotto Destiny, resting his legs the whole time. But now under 10K to go, Lotto Destiny's up at the front too, and everybody, all the top sprinters, are getting excited on today's stage. We get into 7 kilometers to go. The pace picks up one more notch higher because we look over to the right side. Well, that's T-Spanu, Jumbo-Visma. He's going full gas out of the saddle, throwing down 100% here coming into the final of stage 11. We look over to the left side of the road. We see Albacine de Koenig there wrapped up with 5 guys. But there's no Matthew van der Poel. If I back the film up to about 9-10 kilometers to go, no Matthew van der Poel was there close to Jasper Philipsen either because he's taken the day off. That means Jasper Philipsen has to go into this sprint finish of the Tour de France without his last and main lead-out guy, and it will change the chemistry of the Albacine de Koenig team. Now, we go up to 5.3 kilometers to go. There's Julian Alaphilippe. Just got done rotating off the front. He's trying to rotate behind there of Nathan Van Hooijdonk, but he can't because Christophe Laporte slipped up onto Nathan Van Hooijdonk's wheel. So all of a sudden, the Soudal Quick-Step rider Julian Alaphilippe backs out a little bit to the left again. Now he's ready to slot right behind Christophe Laporte because he wants to keep the pace going as fast as he possibly can. But while he wasn't looking, Jonas Vingegaard slotted into the third position. And then we see the Soudal Quick-Step rider Julian Alaphilippe trying to slide over until Jonas Vingegaard pushes him and gives him a nudge back out to the left. The Soudal Quick-Step rider Julian Alaphilippe reaches his arm out there and gives a little push on the hip there of Jonas Vingegaard, and then he's thinking he's going to slot into 4th position here of the peloton. But wait, there's one more guy. It's the big man, Wout van Aert, coming up. Wout van Aert gives him a little bump too as we see Julian Alaphilippe get pushed out again. Now he slots behind Wout van Aert in 5th position. Now Jumbo-Visma's going full gas. We're coming up to the first roundabout here, just about 5 kilometers to go, just a hair under, and look to the left side. That's Jaco Lula flying up the left side. They'll come all the way up to Jonas Vingegaard in 3rd position as they come through the roundabout, holding up Jonas Vingegaard as they're coming out of the roundabout to the right turn there. And then look a little further back. Julian Alaphilippe is pinching off Wout van Aert. Wout van Aert's getting a little crossed up on the wheel there. He's got to back off the throttle just a little bit. Then when they come out of the roundabout, no accident happens, so Wout van Aert accelerate back up front. Now, Julian Alaphilippe, we're coming just a little bit further up in the road here, and we'll see Julian Alaphilippe get bumped from the Jaco Lula rider there on with his arm pushing on the Julian Alaphilippe's hip. Julian Alaphilippe looks over right at the Jaco rider, and Jaco rider's like, what, man, we're coming into the field sprint, and you are not a field sprinter, and Fabio Jakobsen's not on your wheel, so get out of the way, Julian Alaphilippe. I don't care if you're a 2-time road world champion here in the professional peloton. We're coming into a Tour de France finish. Now, things are starting to get excited. We see Nathan Van Hooijdonk has pulled off the front, and it's time for Christophe Laporte to go to work. He's got Jonas Vingegaard on his wheel. He's leading out the peloton here, going full gas. He'll lead all the way till we get up onto the bridge there with about 2.5 kilometers, 2.3K to go. And then Christophe Laporte with Jonas Vingegaard. Jonas Vingegaard is going to slot off and drift back in the peloton. But guess what? Christophe Laporte's got a second job to do. It's not done after Jonas Vingegaard's in a safe position here on stage 11. He's going to slot right around Wout van Aert and see if he can help his sprinter win today's stage 11. Now, we're coming off the bridge, making a right turn. Starting to get interesting. If you look at this with just about 1.9 kilometers to go, you know it's going to be crazy because look at the front of the peloton. There's no team train up there. Guys, it's getting empty up there. It's one rider from one team, one rider from another. Albacine de Koenig is up there. Lotto Destiny was up there. Soudal Quick-Step, well, they're trying to do what they can here at the front when we're coming into the finish of the race, but nobody's got control over the peloton with 1.9 kilometers to go with just ones here and there. Now, we look a little further back, though. Wout van Aert, he's got Christophe Laporte with him. They're sitting 4th, 5th position here in the peloton. Just behind him, Jasper Philipsen's just a little bit back. Caleb Ewan's on Wout van Aert's wheel. They're set up nicely. But Jasper Philipsen solo, with the exception of his teammate riding the front. But Jasper Philipsen's got no help to do the big-time lead-out like we've seen in his 3-stage victories here already at the Tour de France. Now, let's get up to 1 kilometer to go because Albacine de Koenig, Jonas Rickard, is driving it. He's got it still single-filed out back there. He's got Lotto Destiny on his wheel. That's the boost. Now, Jonas Rickard will go all the way into about 900 meters, 850 meters. He'll pull off, and then the boost, Lotto Destiny will start going to work. He's pulling on the front, and as he's pulling on the front, Coming up the left side, that's Stuyven and Mads Pedersen coming around the left side here of the road. Then slightly behind him, starting at about 800, well, that's Jaco Lula. They're coming out of nowhere. That's Luka Mezgec, followed by Dylan Groenewegen. Now Jasper Philipsen, he's trying to switch back over to Dylan Groenewegen's wheel, going from the left side to the right side. As he's trying to get Dylan Groenewegen's wheel, he's got no place to go, because there we see it's Bauerhaus that's bumping Jasper Philipsen off the wheel. Jasper Philipsen gets in a tight situation here, and we're talking about 800 meters, 750 meters to go, as Jasper Philipsen's getting squeezed from Wout van Aert coming back, and Phil Bauerhaus coming over from the right side of him as he's getting squeezed. He knows he can't make it. He's got to back off the throttle. He might have to give up a shot at winning stage number 4 here at the Tour de France with about 800 meters to go. Now Jasper Philipsen, he's got to decide quickly what he's going to do, because the finish line is coming close. What does he do? The Belgian rider moves over and starts drifting over to the left side so he can get on Wout van Aert's wheel, because Wout van Aert lost the wheel to Phil Bauerhaus there of Dylan Groenewegen too. Now Luka Mezgec, he's going full gas on the front as he's passing the Lotto Destiny rider De Boost that's fallen off. Luka Mezgec going gas hard at 600 meters to go. Dylan Groenewegen's on his wheel, but this is a tall order to take it from 600 meters to go, guys, because remember, he's been probably pulling from 1,200 meters to go to get Dylan Groenewegen all the way up here to 6. Well, now he's in the hot seat front row here of the Tour de France, and he can't see any of the action that's happening behind him. On the right side of the road, that was about 400 meters. Now we'll see it's Uno X coming up the right side of the road. That's Soren Vorenskjold there from Uno X. I told you guys on Beyond the Coverage, you need to take a look at this team, because they were going to do something here at the Tour de France. Soren Vorenskold's flying up the left side. He'll reach the front of the peloton about 350 meters to go, and he's got Alexander Kristoff on his wheel. Now Dylan Groenewegen switched over off of Luka Mezgec's wheel as he started to blow. Got on there the wheel of Alexander Kristoff behind him. What was happening? Well, Philipsen had gone all the way over to the left, and Wout van Aert now was starting to bump there with the wheel there of Bauerhaus from Bahrain Victorious. That's opening up a gap as Kristoff in front is starting to punch and lead out this Tour de France on stage 11. He's going full gas, but Dylan Groenewegen from Jaco Lula, he starts his jump and opens up a gap as Wout van Aert and Bauerhaus started bumping each other. With the speed there of Dylan Groenewegen in the jump, and the slowing of the two riders back there, Wout van Aert and Bauerhaus, that's opening up a gap and allowing Jasper Philipsen, 3-time Tour de France stage winner here in 2023, coming from the left to the right, and the gap is open, so he slots onto the wheel of Dylan Groenewegen. Dylan Groenewegen, he doesn't hesitate very long, only about 50 meters on Alexander Kristoff's wheel from Uno X. Then he starts his sprint at 200 meters to go. We see Jasper Philipsen's locked onto Dylan Groenewegen's wheel. How he did it, guys, I don't know. He came from the left side, he went to the right side of the road, he went back to the left, and then he shot through the middle with some luck there. Wout van Aert and Bauerhaus tying up each other, holding each other up. So Jasper Philipsen's now sitting second wheel on Dylan Groenewegen's wheel. He'll start his sprint at about 150 meters to go. We see 75. He's even with Dylan Groenewegen, 50 meters to go. The 3-time Tour de France stage winner's got the lead here, and he's going for number 4. 25 meters to go. He's got the lead. He's going to sit up and celebrate. 4 fingers in the air as he wins the first 4 real sprint stages here at the 2023 Tour de France. Behind him, Dylan Groenewegen is grumpy and upset. In his interview, he said he thought he had today's win and won, and then all of a sudden he got passed by a better rider, Jasper Philipsen, so he'll have to settle for second, but he's not happy about it. Third on today's stage is going to be Phil Bauerhaus from Bahrain Victorious, and then Brian Coquard will be 4th from Cofidis, where he came from. I have no idea. He was back there just surfing through the middle the whole time, and then shot around the left side with all the chaos, end up 4th, and then Mads Pedersen will finish 5th for Trek Segafredo after a lot of bumping and grinding. If I back the film up, let me show you Mads Pedersen as they're coming into about 300 meters to go. He goes over on Jordi Meeus and bumps Jordi Meeus from Bora Hansgrohe so hard that you see the wheel come up of Jordi Meeus, and it's coming up, and he sets it down and just barely keeps it together. Now, Jordi Meeus got bumped from everybody throughout the finish of today's race, but that hit from Mads Pedersen was a scary one where I thought the peloton was going down anybody behind him. Now, the GC General Classification favorites, the yellow jersey was the next rider to run through after the big gap of all the sprinters came through, lost about 7 seconds, but you see Tadej Pogacar right there near his wheel. So everything's the same in the general classification for the top 10 contenders here at the Tour de France. was an exciting finish. Hopefully you guys didn't watch the whole stage though, because nothing happened. But from 11K all the way into the finish, it was real money watching and very enjoyable. Jumbo-Visma, in my opinion, their team looked incredibly strong when it comes to taking care of the race leader's yellow jersey, Jonas Vingegaard. They've looked a little bit better in the mountains overall when we're comparing them to UAE Team Emirates, not Tadej Pogacar, but his helpers, of course. But here on these flatter stages, Dylan van Barley, Nathan van Hooydonk, Wout van Aert, Thies Benoot, those four riders have done magical stuff here on these flatter stages, and Jonas Vingegaard has been set up in a great position throughout all these flatter stages. When I look at UAE Team Emirates, yes, they're at the front from 30K to go, 20K to go, all the way into about 10, and that's when we see that Tadej Pogacar was left with one teammate with 6-7 kilometers to go. Tadej Pogacar's probably 40th position in the peloton, while it's Jumbo-Visma in the front, leading out with Nathan van Hooydonk, Christophe Laporte, and of course Jonas Vingegaard sitting third with Wout van Aert on his wheel. So if Jonas Vingegaard had any problems at that point in time, Wout van Aert would ditch winning the stage, hopefully, and help the race leader's yellow jersey of Jonas Vingegaard. Either way, they have a solid team. Jumbo-Visma, Tadej Pogacar, still my favorite here to win the Tour de France, but his team's not quite looking as sharp as Jumbo-Visma. Today's finish, marvelous sprint victory here for Jasper Philipsen, winning number 4, and Dylan Groenewegen's in the fight, but we saw Caleb Ewan, he was there in the mix, then it looked like he backed off the throttle once he realized the gap didn't open up. And sometimes when you're talking about riders being on form and winning, you see a rider like Jasper Philipsen. Okay, we've all said Mathieu van der Poel has been giving him marvelous leadouts and just clean leadouts on the first 3 stage victories that he had here. But you look at this stage 4 victory that he took, doing it all on his own. The gaps that he had to see visually when you're going 100% means that Jasper Philipsen's form must be incredibly sharp. To see those gaps open up, especially when Dylan Groenewegen punched it and Wout van Aert and Bauerhaus hit each other and just opened up that small gap, for Philipsen to see that and come from the left all the way over to the right to get on that wheel and still have the form to come around Dylan Groenewegen like he did with 150 meters to go, this kid is on form, and that is stage win number 4 for Alpecin de Koenig, who've got to be happy with how this 2023 Tour de France is going. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Tomorrow's race looks like a day for the breakaway specialist, but Tadej Pogacar, Jonas Vingegaard better be sharp on tomorrow's stage 12 here at the Tour de France, because anything can happen here in 2023. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next edition real soon.